we're going to go fishing for a second, but it's okay. Welcome back. I know winter is about a week away, right? But this is the time to start thinking about your spring and summer garden. So Scott Baker from Bedford, Virginia Cooperative Extension is here to give us all the dirt on planting your 2023 garden. Thanks so much for being here today, Scott.
Glad to be here.
So let's start with location, right? Where should I plant my garden?
Well, there's a lot of considerations. Probably the most important one is that pretty much all of the garden plants we want to grow are going to require 6 to 8 hours of sun per day. So make sure that you have a spot that gets at least that amount. You also want an area that's probably close to a water source. It just makes it easier if you have to water in the summer. And then also one very specific thing is if you have any walnut trees on your property, you don't want the garden anywhere near that. They produce a toxin in their roots that can be deadly to some plants, especially tomatoes and peppers and grapevines.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Quick thing, I did want to plug one of our very first other segments. We did one on sun location about an app called Sunseeker. So that might be something you want to download or look into that can help you figure out where in your yard the sun's going to be best to plant or to put your garden. So the other thing, you know, I really get caught up in the excitement of wanting to plant all the things, right? But realistically, how big should my garden be?
That's going to be a very personal decision. Probably the first thing you want to think about is, okay, how much time do I have, right? You want gardening to be fun, and if you plant too large of a garden and everything starts coming in the summertime, it's not fun anymore. So that can be very frustrating. How many people do you have in your family? Are you doing it just for your fresh eating, or do you also want to preserve it? So there's a lot of good resources that will tell you, okay, you need this much of this particular plant per person in the family. So that can be a great resource that we can provide to people to help them.
And it's also important to think about, you know, what plant you want to grow for the next year. So tell me more about that. What goes into that process?
Sure. The first thing I ask myself is, well, what do I like to eat, right? You know, okra is a great example. I mean, I love okra, but I know there's plenty of people, my father's one of them, that can't stand it. So, you know, it doesn't make any sense to grow, you know, what you don't like. And certainly people are limited in time. Most people are limited in space. And some things take a lot of space, like pumpkins or watermelons. It's great if you really like them, but if you don't have much space, then you probably should not pick something that's going to consume all the space that you have.
Now, how do you actually prepare the garden right now in the winter?
Sure. So probably the very first thing you can do is get your soil tested. And we can assist with that through the soil testing lab at Virginia Tech. Because, you know, you don't want to guess. You want a soil test. You want to give your crops what they need. And if you find that you need some amendments, fall and winter can be a wonderful time to do that. So it allows plenty of time for that amendment to fix the soil before springtime gets here.
And another plug, our very first segment with you, Scott, was all about soil testing. So of course we'll put that link on the website for you so you can rewatch the segment with Scott on that. Now, of course, one of the favorite things, seeds, right? What should we be thinking about when it comes to seeds?
Sure. So, oh my gosh, there's so many different things to think about, right? Probably one of the first things you want to think about is, am I going to start my own seeds, or am I going to just buy seedlings? You know, that's probably more related to how much time somebody has, also the amount they want to grow. If you're going to grow a few tomatoes and peppers, you know, or maybe something, a container on the porch, it probably doesn't make sense to start your own seeds because that's an involved process. You need artificial lighting. You're going to do that in the wintertime, and you're going to have a lot of leftover seeds. And then also some seeds actually will do better if they're directly sown into the garden soil than started from seed. You know, a good example is, you know, sweet corn. You know, it's just easier to plant that as a seed and be done with it.
Now, of course, we're going to have, there is a great document from the Virginia Cooperative Extension. We're going to link that on the website. Great. You guys have so much wonderful information there. So we really appreciate, you know, Scott Baker from Bedford, Virginia Cooperative Extension, giving us all the dirt on how to plan our 2023 garden. It's hard to believe in today's weather. It's hard to believe that, you know, we should be thinking about our gardens.
That's right, but it can bring you joy on these dreary days to be thinking about all those nice plants next summer.
Yeah, that's so true. All right, Scott, thanks so much.
You bet. Glad to be here.
All right, well, don't go anywhere because coming